Okay, hear me now? Can y'all hear me now, family? We good now? Okay. You done went out and bought you a $250,000 house. The first 5 years, it was all good. First 5 years, it was all good. You got a divorce, or you changed jobs, or the variable interest rate on the mortgage went up. You can't afford it no more. Why are you still in that house? Because you got a better house than all your siblings. You have a better house than all your cousins. You live in the best house that anybody in your family ever had. Even though it's costing you too much money, even though it's stressing you out, even though you don't want to be there, you're trapped in the ego of illusions. You care more about what people think than how you feel. How many black people y'all know like that? How many black people y'all know like that? You care more. You care more about what people think than how you feel. Brothers and sisters, your departure from this world has already been announced. You better get right with God before it's too late. And getting right with God is about living right. It ain't about worship. We should worship the Creator, but there's no better way to worship the Creator than to live the right way. Right living is the greatest worship you can ever participate in. Let me say that again. Living the right way is the greatest worship you can ever participate in. You got to live the right way. What are you spending money on that you don't need? When is the last time you spent one day by yourself? You must fulfill your destiny. You have a purpose for being on earth. God doesn't make mistakes and he doesn't waste time. So your time on earth has a purpose. What is it? Have you found your purpose? Or are you so caught up competing with other black people for cars and clothes? Some of us are 50 years old and we haven't started to live our purpose yet. How you 50 and still ain't got, how you 40 and still don't know your purpose? Well, let me get my money right first, Dr. Umar. Once I get my money right, then I'm going to go ahead and start working on my spirituality. Who told you you're going to be around that long? Do you talk to your ancestors? Because they're all around you. Do you realize that most of the beings on earth are invisible? I'm not talking aliens. And I do have a belief that many aliens may very well be ancestors. I do have a belief of that. A lot of these so-called unidentified, I believe they're ancestors. I believe they're ancestors visiting from another dimension. The aliens are ancestors visiting from another dimension. Do you have an altar in your home? Do you have a spiritual vortex that you have built up with energy that can tap you right into communion with the universe? If you don't have an altar in your home, do you have an altar in your backyard? Do you have an altar under the big tree out front in the house? Where is your altar? Where do you go to tap into universal consciousness? Where do you go to tap into universal consciousness? Everybody needs an altar. An altar is nothing more than a spiritual vortex that you have consecrated for the purposes of prayer, meditation, and worship. That's it. By you constantly going to that room, by you constantly going to that tree, by you constantly going to that place by the river, it becomes a vortex. It is now consecrated with your unique spiritual energy. And when you go there, the ancestors are already waiting. The divinities are already waiting. The angels are already waiting. And I hate to say this to my beautiful black queens. I hate to say this to my beautiful black queens. I'm already possessed, my brother. I will admit to you, I am possessed. I have multiple ancestral personality disorder. I'm possessed. I have multiple ancestral personality disorder. Sometimes Malcolm X talks through me. Sometimes the most honorable Frederick Douglass talks through me. Sometimes Booker T. Washington talks through me. Sometimes Shaka Katsensika Kona Zulu talks through me. Sometimes Huey P. Newton talks through me. Sometimes I have multiple ancestral personality disorder. You've never had the Ifa Tunde experience? Have you ever had the Ifa Tunde experience? Have you ever been to a Dr. Umar lecture? Have you not seen me transform into your favorite ancestor sometimes? Have you not sat there and watched me and said, he's in a zone? That's not him. He's channeling Kwame Nkrumah. He's channeling Sekou Touré. He's channeling Samora Machel. He's channeling Eden Kamathi. He's channeling Henry Highland Garnett. He's channeling Dr. King. You haven't seen me when my multiple ancestral personality disorder takes over? Yes, I suffer from multiple ancestral personality disorder. But what I wanted to say to my African queens, you are blocking your chakra with that weave in the wig. Black women, I know you don't want to hear this, but I got to give it to you. You are blocking your crown chakra with that weave in that wig. Your natural hair is an antenna to the universe. Your crown chakra collaborates with your hair to communicate with the universe. If you got weave and wig, I'm just being honest, ladies, you are suffocating your spirit. You are suffocating your crown chakra. Hat, weave, wig, whatever you want to call it. Let your scalp breathe, black woman. Our spirit is in our head. It is in our heart. It is in our belly. That's why you shouldn't always be stuffed up with food, because you don't get those messages through your belly.